Okay.
What?
What the business you thought would be versus what it is today. Think back decades ago when you were an aspiring little technician at Big O Tires downtown and you were doing the side jobs and you were that person.
Or when I was at Danny's Truck and Auto in Ramona, California.
Yeah, when you were doing the side jobs, when you were that person
Yeah.
trying to make it ahead and dreaming about your own shop and what it would be, what were you dreaming about then?
When I first started, I honestly, when I was, 17, 18, I didn't have a plan of, hold please, let me shut this off. It's buzzing. When I was, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, the years when I first started really turning wrenches and learning and being a mechanic, I didn't ever have a plan. I never thought this far ahead, right? I was just like, I'm learning, making money. Not even that I'm learning, like I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what doesn't feel like work, because I've had jobs where it's like, oh my God, when is this day going to end? I don't like being here. I remember I worked at Sparklet's water bottling company for like 6 months, and I was like miserable every day. But I was thankful for the guy that got me the job, so I stayed there, and I was like, oh my God, I got to get up and go to work. And then Sparklet's water bottling burnt down. My buddy calls me and says, hey, dude, work burnt down. I'm like, yes, but oh my God, that so sucks, because he loved the job. He needed the job, and
I wonder if there was somebody thinking about that at the toilet paper company where that kid just burnt down the whole entire company.
Yeah, right? It's like I was miserable, and I was like, I got the call, and I was probably, my drive was like 50, 60 miles at the time. I don't know why I was doing it. He called me like, dude, work just burnt down. I'm like, oh, that sucks. I don't have to go to work. Yes. And that's all I cared about, right?
For $8 an hour.
I know. I'm poor everybody else that really needed that job. And I was,
but
grateful I just didn't have to go to work that day.
But when you were dreaming, because at one point you had to go from I'm just a worker bee to I want to own my own business. What was the dream of the business? What did you think it was going to be? Why did you start the business?
Well, working in many other shops, and then becoming a really good technician. I'd get hired here, I'd get hired there because of my reputation of being an excellent mechanic, technician. I started training many, many other guys, right? And they're like, oh my God, Sager's so good, and anything I come across, I could fix it or help somebody take care of it. So I was like, man, these kids, they're my boys, like Austin, he wasn't going nowhere at the time. And Alex, the gamer, he's still a gamer, and they have no plans, right? So Austin kept mixing himself in the wrong neighborhood and doing the wrong things. And you're like, finally one day, I'm like, you're like, I'm
Sir,
done with them. I can't take care of them.
You're not answering my question.
I am. I'm trying to get to that in a long,
yeah,
a long.
You're taking
way.
too long.
But I have this library. I'm just wasting training the ones, not wasting because I helped a lot of people, but I was giving that knowledge away, and my boys need it. So I was like, I'd love to start a shop if they don't have a plan for their life, I would love to have a shop so I could teach them something and give them something and help them take care of themselves and a family, right? So my reason why I wanted to start a shop, I love wrenching, right? Like that's me. But I wanted to create something that will help take care of them. If they didn't have a plan, I wanted to give them something, right? So that was my plan. And now it's, Elliot's like Alex.
So what I'm hearing is you didn't have a plan for business.
No.
At all, period.
At all. I wanted to give them something, and then the only way I could do that is create my own shop because I couldn't.
You wanted to give them an environment?
An environment and knowledge to help them take care of themselves, to carry their own water, to be able to feed themselves and their family. I couldn't give them anything else because that's all I know. You know?
So what did you think the shop was going to look like for you?
That they would just be, you know, another me and be able to take care of every situation, right? But now I'm realizing that it's a lot easier if one
to be a
person's
worker
not,
bee.
yeah, if one person's not wearing 100 hats, right? To let them be good at one thing or two things, you know, give them a certain amount.
Or that one person needs to take off of those 100 hats.
Right.
And let other people wear a hat or two and own the positions.
I'm slowly taking those hats off, right? Like you helped me take a few hats off and put a few different hats back on, you know?
Well, that was the whole point of me coming in. You have to get a coaching company. You have to understand, because from my perspective, my outside analytical, super analytical over here, brain, I know business and it's just numbers. It's not feelings at all, period.
Yeah.
Business is numbers.
Yeah.
Business is analytical.
Right.
And you still aren't running it analytically wise. You're still wanting to help.
I'm not running it analytically. And you said, why?
Wise.
Oh, okay. I was like, why? I don't know. I'm not running.
I know why you're not, because it's not your genius.
Yeah.
That's not where your genius is. The cars. Your genius is your heart. Your genius is to be a teacher. I know you have so many words there for me, and you're just holding your tongue back because we're on camera.
One day she's like, we're going to do this, this, and this. I don't want to be here. You figure it out. And it's like,
No, see, because you're micromanaging me, and I don't do well with micromanagers.
Yeah. But it was pretty awesome.
Right, but that would be like you going to get a job now and being the low man on the totem pole.
Yeah.
How would you feel walking into the dealership?
Yeah.
And somebody is above you with lesser knowledge.
Yeah.
How would that make you feel?
Yeah.
You would be like that guy who burnt down the toilet paper factory.
Yeah.
Screw you all, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what I'm saying, is that's my zone of genius, is the data, the KPIs, the analytics. That I love that. I love the research. I love the learning. I love paying attention to the data. I love that. You work from a totally different angle of your heart.
Yeah.
You're teaching. You want to give people something. You want to leave a legacy. I could give a rat's ass about a legacy. That's not who I am. I want to impart knowledge and wellness and things currently now in this lifetime. After I die, and if nobody talks about me after I'm dead, I could care less.
You know what? I got a question. So that SOP that I listened to this morning, everything that you had created yesterday, was that from you?
Yes, I put that all in there and had Mr. Claude help me present it in a nice, neat little package to you and Elena.
Yeah.
Because, again, my brain works differently than you guys.
Yeah.
And I need to be able to convey what my brain is saying to your brain of understanding.
Yeah. But like, I touched down on 5 points, and you knew I didn't go through that SOP.
I know you not, because I know you.
But I literally went and had hit 5 nails on the head this morning without reading your SOP, and then you come out and like, you're not doing that right, but it's exactly what your SOP said.
Oh, we're going to fight?
Yeah.
Okay, let's fight. I didn't come out and I'm going to bring up the camera footage.
I was like, dang.
I'm going to bring up the camera footage because you came in hot and heavy this morning, attacking because something went wrong that
I
you
didn't feel I was attacking.
You were attacking. You came out hot and heavy because something didn't go right and you couldn't fix it and it was already wrong. So you couldn't correct it. You just had to roll with it and you weren't happy with that. And so you came in hot and heavy, rawr, and I came in saying, no, I already took care of it. And I had been structuring it with Elena at 4:30 yesterday afternoon and handed it to you, and you did not read it last night when you said you were going to. And then this morning you were like, blah. And I'm like, yo, dude, you know that paperwork I gave you last night that you didn't read, that you're whining about now?
But hold on.
No.
Pause.
Because if you would have read it last night,
Pause.
when you said you were going to read it.
Pause. You went into mommy protective mode.
I did.
You
totally.
did. But
I did.
So, okay, in the SOP, exactly stated, if the parts are readily available at the closer store and we can get them without waiting a day, get that. And that's exactly what I said without reading your SOP. So that's why I was
not what
like,
it said.
and I'm listening to this.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no, no,
that's
no, no,
exactly
no.
what I just said.
No. That's not what it said. That's not what it said. Your chat, you didn't have chat read directly. Chat, I very much dislike ChatGPT. ChatGPT probably took the overall general thing that you fed it and what you've already talked to it about and gave it back an answer that it wanted you to hear. Because that's what ChatGPT does.
But I screenshotted exactly what your SOP said without feeding it to him. And I'm like, what's this?
Well, then why didn't you read it last night when I gave it to you?
Well, I didn't read it last night, but after I'd said what I'd said, I'm like, hey, so if the parts at the closer store, instead of waiting a day and the vehicle's tying up the rack, I would gladly go pick the part up. So,
Right. Which, if you had read it last night,
yeah,
you wouldn't have came in hot and heavy going, rah, because we were in discussions of this and you would have seen that we were already on our making an effort to fix it.
Yeah. But I mean, I was just like frustrated because the car was on the rack and we were waiting a day for a part when it was right up the street at the other store.
And also, who's to say that wasn't the technician's lack of communication to the front? There's many breakdowns in the communication line.
Okay, hang on.
Can be.
Did you read that part? What I sent to you? The technician told me that it stated we're doing the 3 parts, but the 3rd part was never even ordered. So it missed the order. It wasn't even on the estimate. So he had said, hey, this part's not even on here.
Right. And now it becomes a he said, she said finger pointing game from the technician to the service advisor, because
the service advisor admitted it and said, I had to go order that part. My bad.
Okay. Because I was going to say, at what point, where does the lack in communication versus the he said, she said? So again, there needs to be another system. There needs to be a system or a discussion had of like, this fell through. And this needs to happen. And also, as an owner, as the business owner who wanted to teach,
I'm trying to help fix this, and I don't know how. And you're about to say it is technically your responsibility, but then says the one that says you need to stop. You have too many hats on. You need to stop that responsibility. That's not your responsibility.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You need to own the responsibility of, but you can't come in hot and heavy pointing fingers.
I guess I'm just a very...
a reactive person?
A lot of emotions. I am very intimate about my business.
100%.
And that's okay. You were with
It
yours,
is okay.
right?
It is okay.
Okay.
But in order for it to be, we can keep it small and it can still be a learning pod if that's what you want, because that's what you started it as, right?
Yeah.
It's a learning pod. So do we want it to be a learning pod or do we want it to be a business?
Can we please turn your phone off?
Well,
I turned mine off.
You can hear that?
It vibrates through the whole floor.
Does it really?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's you started the business as like a learning pod because you wanted to leave something knowledge to your children. Great. Excellent. Love that. It has evolved into an actual business that is not a business.
It's more of a business than a lot of small businesses that are still out there. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, and I would, I look at Elena, I look at Alec, and they rely on that to feed their families. And
100%.
I 100% love helping people too.
Right.
I want to take care of them as well. So I wouldn't be against, helping other people's families that wanted a job or needed a job that,
But then
we're not ready for that yet.
No. And again, I'll put up a boundary and be like, no. But that's what I'm saying is the structure needs to be there.
Yeah.
And you started the business from the love of wrenching.
Yeah.
It is a business, not business.
Yeah.
And the business needs a business owner, which you are not stepping into that role.
Yeah.
So either you need to step out completely of the business owner role, 100%, and be the mechanic, or you need to step into the business owner role and out of the mechanic role.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Can't have all those hats.
Well, definitely I'm not going to allow someone to come in and run my business to the ground because I've seen many other owners do that,
I've seen it with the kids. Right, 100%. So isn't that the aspect right now where you step into the business owner role and out of the mechanic role?
Yeah.
Like now it's time you've left them a legacy. You're not gone. You're still there. You're still able to teach. You're still able to impart wisdom.
Yeah.
But now you can actually gain your own wisdom, more knowledge for yourself to be able to pass down to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to grow to that evolve to that next step. And I don't know.
Well, it's like Einstein.
Well,
is it Einstein who says doing the same thing over and over and over?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now.
A different result is the definition of insanity.
Right. And that's what's happening right now.
Right. Well, I don't know. I don't know about all that because, like I said, once again, I love being a technician. I'm trying to put it in a sense for you because you don't think you're that great at. That's why I wanted to go back to the SOP training and teaching, like your mom was a teacher. You are very good at understanding, learning, and teaching, right?
Yes.
And
I know that.
Your mom was a teacher, right? And that's why I wanted to state the SOP. I didn't even know the SOP, but you've seen it enough to know that what needs to happen. And then I'm reading the SOP. I'm like, I did 5 of those things. Why is she mad at me? It's because of how I was presenting it, right? Because you take this as my tone and my voice and as being mad, and it's just frustration, just trying to fix the problem,
your frustration
being passionate about
equals
it.
Anger to me because
I know.
they are the same thing.
But I caught that, and I'm like, I'm even with Alec, I'm like, dude, look at the SOP, and it's exactly what I was just saying to do. And now she's upset with me, and he's like, I don't know. So we were both dumbfounded about that.
No, sir.
But you're so good at it, right? Like those 5, I'm like, that's exactly what I just said.
But
like
see,
she's right.
That was not all just me, though. Elena had her input on it too.
Right.
So that was both of our brains coming together to create that for the front end to make sure that something like that does not happen again.
Right.
At 4:30 in the afternoon, you were supposed to read it. You didn't read it, and then the next morning you came in all hot and heavy without reading the SOP.
I guess I wasn't told this is a must read tonight.
No, you said it. You were going to read it tonight, and you wanted to go learn something new. That's totally fine. And it would have been totally, totally fine if you didn't come in hot and heavy, bitching about the same thing that I just tried to hand you at 4:30 the prior afternoon.
Well, I was excited because I spent all this time and money in getting NASTF and SDRN.
I'm totally fine with that. That's Go learn.
certified
I want you to learn, but I also want you to learn your numbers.
to do key programming and get the newer keys. So I was able, you had a 2023 key. We only had one key. If we got locked out, we're done. So I got that programmed. I was super excited about that. I had fun with that. And I was like, no, you're going to focus on the training material for the boys, blah, this and that. I'm like, and
Sir,
the other side of me went,
that's tomorrow too.
I know. I know. Trust me. I just thought of that. And the other side of me went, this is so exciting to do programming on newer keys. And
You know what that is?
what?
That's avoidance of something that needs to happen, like procrastination. What is the book? Who Not How?
You know how long I've been procrastinating? Now? Yeah, we have a locksmith.
No, I know.
Not How?
But listen, Linda, listen. The procrastination is avoidance of overwhelm. So
Yeah.
So the fact that you have all this paperwork to read and you don't like to read
Yeah.
was overwhelm. So you're going to go learn something that you say you've been putting off.
I have.
Just saying.
I think I've done like one or two keys in the last
I've been
year
missing
since
a
I did
key. I've been missing a key since 2023.
that. No, it's only
Yes.
been like 2024, 2025.
And all of a sudden last night it was priority.
Because I finally bought the extra fob.
Just saying. Procrastination can be avoidance for the
Maybe.
overwhelm and learning something new. Back to the same
Man.
thing over and over again.
So you created this whole school, took Scanner Danner's book page by
Ah!
page. Oh. Well, I guess you get to edit that out, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Don't you say something like that.
My bad. Anyway, you created this whole school, SKOOL school.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have, a training course for the boys. And that was like totally legit, right? I was just and I was like, man, I would really like to capture this, record it, and be able to go over the course material like a teacher does and go, let's revisit this, right? Well, what did we go over?
Hey, you know that whole,
I don't know.
You know that whole pile of paperwork I gave you last night?
Yeah.
And you said you were going to go over?
Yeah, I know.
Guess what you get to do tonight?
Yeah.
Because you're teaching it tomorrow.
Well, I think you need to help me get on a roll with that.
Dude, did I not?
Yeah, I know, but you hand me this whole booklet that you know how to work and run.
No, I handed you a whole booklet because I told Claude your personality and said, write it for him. And it did.
Like, I can test the battery and tell you it's bad.
Sure, but you have to be able to teach it. And,
Yeah.
and doing and teaching are two different things.
Yeah.
Because if you're teaching somebody what if you're teaching me and I'm asking all of these analytical questions and you're like,
You'd
I
be
don't know,
easy to
just
teach.
because.
You'd be easier to teach
Okay, but what
if you actually cared.
I don't care.
You're like, oh, he'll figure it out. He's got this. I don't even care about that.
I don't care. I don't care. But that's what I'm saying. What if you're coming up against somebody who's different than you in your learning style and you have to teach it, but the only style that you know is the kinesthetic style, but they're a visual person. They don't learn through doing. They learn through seeing.
I'm trying to learn all ways to teach, right?
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to come up with and be a good teacher.
That's why I'm saying teaching and doing is totally different.
Yeah. Well, one I was thinking about revisiting with Alec is, and even Gage, right, is charging systems. And
Oh, wait, isn't that week 2?
maybe,
Pretty sure I already have that for you too.
but there was a there was a vehicle that came in, and its charging voltage was right around 13 volts. Like,
Are charging and starting systems different or are they the same?
starting and charging, they kind of work together, but they're different.
Okay, that's what I'm asking because week 2 is starting.
What's
That list that you gave me the other day of the 12 weeks.
what's week 1? Starting?
Battery.
Oh, okay, that's good. We want that to be our foundation because that's our foundation. That's where we need to start with.
So is that the charging?
Yeah, because we can't move past. If we have a bad battery, we can't test the alternator. We can't test the charging system. Everything's skewed. Because that's what I was gonna say. Like he went on this test, right? I'm like, but he did good. He did really good because he started with, the battery test bad. I can't run, but he couldn't explain why, and that's what I wanted him to do. He knows he's seen me do it so many times. Like,
Right. That's what I mean by
Yep.
if you have a different student coming
Yep.
in and they're asking you all
Yep.
kinds of questions and you're like, I don't know because I said so. That's a horrible teacher.
I know, yeah. But I was trying.
I need to understand why because I'm a why person because I want to be able to replicate.
I explained it to him, and I think he's got some of it, but I want him to like it to saturate it in that way he can go to the customer and go, this, and this, and this is why. And they'll go, oh.
Yeah. And that's what I handed you in that pile of paperwork that you didn't.
What did we say?
That you didn't read.
What did you say?
What?
Being authentic, right? Like if you're authentic and you're looking at somebody and talking to them.
No, where did I hear we were listening? Who were we listening to? We were listening to James. Were we listening to James?
Yeah, it was James.
Was it James?
Yeah.
Where
They know. People know when you're
they
not
totally
being real
know,
and authentic.
but it's also they can measure the frequency.
Yep.
And
That's it.
the authenticity
Yep.
of the authentic frequency that is
Yep.
scientifically measurable is
Yep.
higher than love.
Right.
That's pretty freaky.
Yeah. Well, that's true though.
Well, I didn't know that. Like, I'm going to have to go find that out, right? Because to me, in my head, love is the highest frequency.
He doesn't have, he knows for a fact that I can tell him and then tell him to tell the customer and then he's okay with it. Then he can be authentic about it. But it's coming from him. He's not sure. He's like, it's like that kid, you tell him, go, you got this, go. And he's like, I don't know, can I?
Yes. And
And people see that.
correct. Yes. But that comes from the imbalance of not having the confidence or the lack of confidence because it hasn't.
Confidence and being authentic about it too.
Because it has no confidence. So I think in my head, they're on two different things. Confidence and authenticity of who
Yeah.
you are. I am analytical.
Yeah.
I am authentically analytical. If I came into you and I tried to be a storyteller,
Yeah, I get that.
right, where you're trying to tell me a story of why you started the business, and I'm like, speed it up because that's boring to me. Like,
Yeah.
I am more analytical, to the point, short, punchy. I am not a storyteller. So if I tried to come in as his examples were through his social media and me trying to be authentic by telling stories.
But people can still see not the lack of confidence, right? Like, oh, he doesn't know. He's not sure. I guess that's where I was going with it.
Right,
That's what
but
I meant.
confidence is different than authenticity.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean,
They're
I know
totally
they are,
different.
but that's not what I meant by that, right?
Yeah.
I guess I was 100% confident, but I guess authentic.
Authenticity for him would be walking into the customer saying, I like poop. That's Alec.
Yeah. Well, or or I wear these red, white, and blue. Hey, dudes, and that's me. I'm authentic. Like that's authentic. Being authentic. Like,
I know I have to slow that word
I know.
down.
I always wear these, right? And that's me being, or authentic. Brand, I guess.
It's
Brand can be
authenticity is who you are to the core.
Yes, right.
You're not wearing a mask
Right.
or a shield to the outside world to please somebody else.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
fit in, to appease people.
Yeah, and see, he's not, along with the confidence, like when he tells me something he knows, I can see he's being authentic and he's confident about it. And it's like, then we can have a real conversation. But when I'm telling him a problem with a car that he's going to have to explain to a customer, he's like, the confidence level goes way down.
Yeah, because he doesn't have...
he's not being him.
Right, but
He's not being
No,
the real
I get
him.
where you're trying to come. I get where you're
Right.
trying to come from, but
Right.
to me, it's they're two totally different things. The confidence.
How he comes at you when he wants to argue about something.
I like
that's
poop.
him.
I know.
That's him being authentic.
He's stubborn. Yes.
He can't be like that with a customer.
No, he can't.
So that's not him being Alec.
Totally.
He's not being authentically
He's not
Alec.
being correct, but that's different than confidence.
Yeah, but they kind of play together there, right?
They do play together.
If I could put
they are
if I could
different.
put a Katie mask on him and have him go talk to a customer, he could be Alec and he would be super confident, right?
But also,
Even when you're right, he's going to tell you you're wrong,
I know.
just like you do.
Yes, I do.
He's just like you.
Because I told you I go battle with armed
Yeah.
confidence, knowing
Yeah.
that this is what I'm coming for.
Yeah.
So if I'm coming at you, I know I'm right.
Right.
I've done the research.
Right. But
I
back
will.
to that back to that whole
He has
thing.
not.
Yeah. Back to that whole thing is I was telling him, so when we have a battery that's on the verge of being really too weak and it's not good, right? So take a GM AC Delco or Delphi alternator, for instance, take a one-wire system, the most best alternator design in the world. They call it a one-wire. You don't need to know why. It's just a lot of people will know what I'm talking about. You start the car up. You start the car up and it has a slow crank. And it starts up and you see the voltage go up to almost about 15 volts. And then you see it start coming back down because it knows that battery was super low and it's trying to overcharge. And I seen that happening on a car and he didn't catch that. And I'm like, did you see that? I said, that alternator couldn't even charge properly. That battery super low, that alternator should went way up and then came back down because it's like, oh, okay, I'm getting the right voltage now, right? The voltage regulator controls that. But he didn't catch that. And so that's just what I wanted to go over. Like, I'm super excited to teach them this, like, so they understand what they're looking at. And they're like, oh, man, did you hear that thing crank over?
You better go over your teacher materials.
Did you hear that thing crank over? See that alternator? Like, boom.
You better go over your teacher
I know.
materials.
And then the poor starter's been holding all that heat from slow cranking, bad charging. So now we need battery, starter, and alternator.
You better go over your teacher materials.
Right. But then the customer is like, why do I need this? Why? They only said I needed a battery. It's like, whoo, let me tell you.
Okay, because that's where I came in on the back end of teaching them.
Yeah.
The little quiz has questions that ask them how to talk to a customer.
Right.
So they're going to learn that. Go read your teacher material.
Well, that's what I'm going to.
This is like the whole conversation of the SOP of read your paperwork.
I'm going to
because you're going to come in and
I have that project created in my ChatGPT. I'm going to send them all the pictures and then I'm going to listen to them tell it to me.
No,
Yes.
No.
I'm not going to read it.
you are. I built it for your brain.
Okay. I'll read it and listen to it.
Then don't ask me to help you create. Don't ask me if you don't read it. If you don't read it and do what it says, don't ask me to help create your teaching materials.
So now you're telling me how to learn. I will
No.
read it, but
I'm
I
not
will
telling-
not retain it.
Just carry it with you. You already know
So
the
I'm going
materials.
to read it. I'm going to upload it.
No,
And I'm going to
I
read
hate
it and listen to it.
ChatGPT.
I'm going to read it and listen to it.
I very much dislike AI right now
Why?
because
Because I'm going to use it the way I
no,
need to
because
use it?
people are utilizing it for their brain, not just you.
Well, it's like you fast forwarding your tape. It's like it drives me nuts when you listen to a tape on super fast forward. I'm like, dude, how are you even retaining any of that?
You want to know why? Because science. You have to pay attention harder to the person talking when they're talking fast to be able to listen and understand. So you're actually paying attention to that
can't do it.
to that person.
I want to grab that recording and break it and throw it away.
Yeah, I know
can't
that.
do it.
That's how I feel with you and
It drives me
ChatGPT
nuts.
and other people and ChatGPT and utilizing it. Like they're giving away, and I don't.
Everybody's ChatGPT is at their level.
Yes, but that's not what I was going to say. They're giving away their power. You're outsourcing your power to an artificial intelligence.